Okay, guys. Oh, the camera's a little bit weird for a second. It went green there. I don't know why. Must be a Matrix attack. But in honor of my recent videos, you could say, exposing the interesting, degenerate qualities of feminists with that Ronda Rousey video that I released that you guys are really enjoying, I decided to, oh, this is going to be good. I decided to offer you guys this amazing analysis, as well as some bonus footage from what can really only be described as boss queens afterwards. This female judo champion, again, they say judo champion as if she's a judo champion. No, she's not a judo champion. She's a female judo champion. This woman, she's a female judo champion. It's not the same thing. An actual judo champion, like a human judo champion, what do you instantly assume? You assume the best judo practitioners in the world, right? Which of course are all men, because men are physically stronger. Sorry, feminists. There's such a thing called biology. If you have XY chromosomes, your body's been marinated in a thing called testosterone since you were 13 years old. This gives you an unfair advantage in all things competitive and physical. So we know what would happen if a woman who practices judo were to fight with a man that practices judo. The outcome of that would likely be so heinous you couldn't put it on TV. But in honor of women in combat sports, I feel like we should appreciate what happens here. By the way, is that a, I just noticed, is that a, what is that? Is that a set of massive water balloons in her shorts? I mean, what is that? You can tell from the title, I'm sure, what's coming, what's about to happen. Oh no, you could see the look on her face right before it happened too, right here. She's like, oh, I'm about to destroy this girl. Like, her arms are down. This is not a fighting stance, right? And she just comes forward. She wobbles forward. Women should not be in the octagon. Oh no, what is this? What is this, dude? She just steps out of the way and boom, crash. Oh! What is that, dude? What is that? What is that? So, yeah, I mean, could Ronda Rousey beat this girl? Who knows? I guess it depends if she would fall on Ronda Rousey, right? If she just, like, tripped and fell on her. This other woman just, like, gets out of the way, just lets her fall. Bro, this is women in combat. You understand this is literally considered peak. I mean, she won a she won a championship in judo. A female championship in judo, and this is the result of that. Think about that. Think if a male world champion messed up this hard. I mean, a laughing stock for all time. We're talking, what's the guy that Jake Paul sparred? He had, that he got kneed in the face in the first 4 seconds against Khabib or something, and then, just defined his entire legacy. This is 5 times worse than that, because, no, 10 times worse than that, because no one even touched her. She did this to herself. A pinnacle champion knocked themselves out by falling on the ground. Look at the cameraman. He's just like, what is this? Is this really my job right now? I'm getting paid half of what this woman's getting paid because the quality of outcome. Oh my God, she has to make just as much money as Floyd Mayweather. Oh my God, equal pay. Now look, there's compilations of sports failures. It's not only women that mess up like this, but no, I take that back. People who mess up to this degree are most often women. It's just a layer further in terms of incompetence that you just don't see anywhere else. It's like old people playing pickleball, and you kind of expect that everyone's going to be slow and just like miss, very easy shots. And then there's women playing sports. Those are kind of equivalent. Oh, dude, why does this exist? Why is there a league? What is the point of a female league if your champion does this? Look, I think this is to say that with that Ronda Rousey video of her going on a female feel-good podcast and saying that she's the greatest fighter the planet has ever seen, we have to understand the message and the undercurrent of somebody willing to do that, as well as the platform that she went on to do it. Feminism doesn't want you to actually be able to talk about reality freely, like I'm doing right now. Like, if this was a man, there would be no problem with me laughing at it and mocking. I could do that for hours. No one would get mad. They'd be like, yeah, look, oh my gosh, he's such an idiot. But when it's a woman, oh my gosh, protected class, we have to invert the intersectionalist hierarchy of Marxism. She's obviously a good person as a result of being victimized by you. I can guarantee you in the minds of many liberals and leftists, this woman is now a good person just because I'm making fun of her. Oh my god, oppression is literally social status. Quickly, let's count up the ways we can be oppressed. And that's exactly the same ethos that Ronda Rousey had when she felt as though that she could lie openly with no connection to reality at all. So claim that she's the greatest fighter of all time, because the expectation is that any person that would obviously point out, wait a second, you're saying the equivalent of the earth is flat, those people are to be considered the oppressors. And in the ideology of the left, which infuses feminism, you're then considered a bad person. Once you're considered a bad person by the left, their ideology says, we no longer have to contend with what you have to say. This is the reason why you see the left getting so upset and triggered when Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson comes out and says, I'm not going to endorse a candidate, because they get reminded that that mechanism of their ideology that says this is a bad person, let's say any person that they demonize as a bad person, they get reminded that, wait a second, that's actually not a coherent moral function your ideology just did, because you still do have to listen to them because they're still human and ideas are still decided in terms of their virtue and merit, not the identity class of the person who speaks the ideas. And so they get upset. Oh my God, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he's literally an enemy to democracy. You notice how they didn't disagree with what he said? They didn't say, you know what, yeah, America is in a really bad spot right now. This is terrible. I mean, look at what's happening at the border. Look at inflation. The response was, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson must hate democracy. They can't contend with reality. This is what feminism is. This is what the leftist ideology of Marxism requires. It's the reason why people like this get world championships and Ronda Rousey is applauded and protected by the left-wing ideology for saying she's the greatest fighter of all time. Could you imagine just if like a random 500th ranked UFC male fighter said he was the greatest of all time? People would be like, okay, this guy has developed schizophrenia, right? Because he's clearly so obviously not the best, and his social status would be eliminated. At least among all groups of serious people. He may be taken in by the left because the left loves to promote degeneracy and anti-truth, but I'm talking about the real circles of humans. But Marxism, the left, it revels in denying reality. And if you don't believe me, guys, look, what I'm about to show you next is just further confirmation of this, because, I'm talking a lot about feminism, right? I'm attributing this delusion that you see constantly shown to you to feminism because I understand the architecture of this resentment. The architecture of the ideology of feminism is linked to the left because of resentment. Marxism is derived based on resentment because you must resent any class that is oppressing you. The dichotomy is between oppressor and oppressee, bourgeoisie versus proletariat, if we were to use the terms of last century, but they've modulated it from economic disparities to race and gender identity and gender proclivity and economic status. They've expanded it to all the intersectionalist identities. So any way that you are, quote, oppressed, you can claim counterfeit virtue, you claim to be a good person, and that process is resentment. What they're doing is resenting other people, and that's what feminism does. They don't just resent masculinity. They obviously resent masculinity. That's not news to anybody in terms of calling masculinity toxic, saying men are, oppressors, enemies, bigots, take your pick, toxic, etc. But they also resent other things like the notion of objective truth and the abstract. So they can have resentment for ideas or systems of thought. It's a little bit more complex, but you can still understand very clearly that they have resentment for the notion of objective truth. The reason for this is due to the marriage of postmodernist philosophy with Marxist ideology, because in postmodernist philosophy, it is clearly stated there are no better and worse ways of interpreting the world, which is a lie. It's also stated that there's no objective right and wrong. So then you see that they're clearly morally relativistic and nihilistic as well. There's a reason why all these people that are socialists, that are communists, are also nihilistic and also morally relativistic and are also feminists. It's because the ideology of the left thrives on resentment, not just for groups like masculinity or the rich, but for mental models like objectivity, rationality, logic, the expectation that an objective truth can be realized. Even things a bit more abstract, like the individual. They literally have resentment for the individual or accountability. Again, that's the reason why they're socialist. So listen to this video of these women basically just completely denying reality due to feminism, because they feel emboldened by feminism to not talk about reality. Because once they say that reality isn't something that needs to be worried about, then their ideology can have free reign.